The Inspiritus Refugee and Immigrant Services, right? So this works out really well. I was just talking to Chris with the Catholic Diocese, and he was talking about work with refugees. So tell me a little bit about your organization, please.
Yeah, so we actually do some of the same work that Chris does at Catholic Charities. We're one of the 3 refugee resettlement agencies, so they're one of the others that receives refugees into the U.S. and helps them with everything from picking them up at the airport to getting them an apartment, helping them find a job, everything that they need to get settled in Nashville and get started. We also work with some other immigrants. We work with survivors of human trafficking. We work with unaccompanied minors as well.
Wow, sounds like there's a lot of need in the Nashville area. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question you may not know, but do you know statistics on how many refugees we have coming to Nashville? I don't know if it's daily or weekly or monthly or yearly.
I can say as far as our numbers go, over the last fiscal year, which we just finished, I think we took about 118 individuals. But we are the newest in Nashville. We have other cities where we are located, but for Nashville, we're the newest. So we kind of had smaller numbers than some of the other agencies. So I would have to just kind of guess based on that.
It's a good guess.
It's definitely several hundred.
Several hundred. Okay, so you said you're the newest in Nashville. So is Inspiritus located in other cities as well?
Yes. So Inspiritus is headquartered out of Atlanta, Georgia. And as far as our refugee services, we are working in Nashville, Savannah, Birmingham, and Atlanta. We also do other work in Nashville as well. We're building affordable housing for seniors. We have an art therapy program. We are working on a gardening program with folks, especially folks who are in public housing, and we have a food bank, so we're doing other things as well.
Wow, so it sounds like you're trying to take care of all of kind of just basic needs for settling in and having a healthy life where they're getting the food and shelter and transportation. And I imagine there's emotional and social needs as well.
Yeah, so our theme is we help people to move from surviving to thriving, whatever that means for them. And so, there's definitely emotional needs as well. By the very definition of a refugee, they've experienced some kind of trauma. And so we do have to help folks to kind of not only adjust to Nashville, but also to adjust to some of the things that they have been through.
Right. Yeah, it takes some work, right? And it takes a community supporting individuals to get past trauma and to really build that joyful, thriving life, as you said, from surviving to thriving. Okay, will you tell me about your role in the organization and how long you've been there?
Yes, so I'm the community engagement specialist. I started last August, so I've been here a little bit over a year. Our office actually opened in May 2022, so we've just been going about a year and a half almost. And what I do is I work with the community outreach events like this, but I also do a lot of work with our volunteers. So we recruit volunteers, both one-on-one volunteers as well as volunteer groups, and we can pair our volunteers with a refugee family to help that family get adjusted. Volunteers can be there at the airport, which I think is one of the most fun things that I've gotten to do since I came. Being able to go to the airport and pick up some families, and then to see that a year later how they're adjusting and checking in with them and how they're doing and all of that. It's a lot of fun. We also did volunteer groups, so if you have an organization like a congregation that you're a part of or a community group, and you're interested in gathering a group of people together, we can pair a group up with a refugee family, and that's called co-sponsorship. And those co-sponsorship groups will also do a lot of that work, picking the family up at the airport, helping them to get settled into their apartments, helping them to get the basic things like an ID or social security card, all those things that you need, helping them to maybe drive them to doctor's appointments until they can get to that point where they have transportation. There's lots of really fun things that you can do. The great thing is that you really build relationships with people. So we've had some of our volunteers who've just really gotten to know our families and become very good friends. And we've even had one of our refugee families that came back in October has already started volunteering with us, and they volunteered at events like this, but they're also getting ready to be paired with a refugee family that's coming in.
Wonderful. It sounds like it's a really rewarding experience for the volunteers and certainly for the refugees to meet and make those connections and develop long relationships. Now, if somebody is wanting to volunteer, what steps do they need? How can they connect with you to make that happen?
Yeah, probably the easiest way to find me, since my name's a little difficult to spell, is to go to our website. It's www.weinspirit.org.
Weinspirit.org.
Yes. And that will have information about all the work that we do, but my contact information should be on there on the volunteer section.
Great. And so, like, in terms of time commitment, I know you've talked about individuals that they develop these, like, it sounds like lasting, lifelong relationships. But if somebody's, maybe a little intimidated by a big time commitment, is there a way for them to volunteer in smaller increments?
Yeah, we do have some volunteers who will just kind of, we'll let them know when there's a need, and if they're available, they'll show up, and if they're not, they won't. So, we do have to background check and stuff like that for volunteers, but we have volunteers who will just do something simple like take a family to the grocery store if they need, some help with it or that sort of thing. So
great. That sounds really good. Okay, so are you from Nashville?
No, I've been in Nashville 20 years.
20
so
years.
It's
a long
time. Been a long time. I'm originally from California.
California. Okay. Very good. So what is one of the things you're most excited about Celebrate Nashville today?
I'm most excited about getting to eat some of the really good food that I know is going to be here.
I know there's a lot of food here, a lot of booths to get information. You can buy like cool clothing or artwork. There's music,
I've already bought some items.
Yeah. I know. I'm looking forward to taking a break and wandering around myself. Let's see, what else was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, today? I do want to just mention that we are gearing up for a holiday coat drive for our refugee families. Very often they're coming from countries where it's much warmer than it is here. I think today is our first really kind of somewhat cold day. And so we want to get coats to every single person that we have resettled over the last year. So if anyone's interested in doing that, they can also look on our website and find our information on how to contact us.
Okay, so you need individuals to help deliver the coats?
So we just need some coat donations. So that can look like giving us money so that we can go buy the coats. It can look like getting on our Amazon wish list, which is linked on the website, and ordering a coat, or just, buying a coat at the store and dropping it off with us.
So that's great. Coats are so important during, especially if you're going through a shock to it gets colder. It's colder today. Yes. Are you looking specifically for new coats?
Yes, that's a great question. We would definitely prefer new coats, or at least like new coats. If we do receive some that are used, we usually just save them for later in case we have a family come in and who doesn't have a coat and it's still winter.
Okay, so new coats, look on Amazon. There's a lot of places to buy coats. You can almost any store, Walmart.
Absolutely.
Not to give a plug for anywhere in particular, but
yeah, anywhere is fine. And we usually get a lot of children's coat donations, which is great. But also our adults need coats as well. So that's a big need.
So you mentioned children, and it makes me think: are you mostly seeing families come, or are there individuals?
Yeah, we definitely get a mix. We get some families, we get some individuals. For individuals, it's a little bit harder because it's the cost of living in Nashville and trying to rent an apartment by yourself is a lot. So we do try to get them a roommate if they do come by themselves.
Okay, great. Well, and I hope they'll come to the Nashville Public Library, too. You can put that on the list of things that you tell them to do.
Yeah, it's one thing that I always suggest that volunteers do. Like, take the family to the library and get them signed up for a library card and show them how it works.
Yeah, we have a multilingual collection that's growing. We just had a collection of Kurdish materials at the Edmondson Pike Branch Library. We also have Spanish materials, and we're working on translating our website this year to Spanish and Arabic, and we hope to next year translate it to Kurdish. And if individuals are interested in making TV, they can come to the NECAT Network, which is a department in the Nashville Public Library. And it's a really cool way to take the classes. They'll learn about making television, which is fun and creative, but also just the relationships that are built in those classes can be a cool way to meet new people. So giving my little plug for some other opportunities for folks to do.
I was amazed at all the things that you can do when I looked at your website, and so I actually did tell one of the refugees refugees that we resettled about a year ago that I picked up at the airport because he loves doing like filming and stuff. So I told him about it. I think it's a great opportunity.
Great, and I know we have some materials for the Pathways to New Americans as well. If they want to get like informational information, how do you connect to like your New American citizenship program? Is there a way that your organization works with that?
Yeah, so we do have our folks that are based out of Atlanta can help people to go through that citizenship process because our refugee families are eligible to get permanent residency first and then move on to citizenship. So we do help them, but sometimes they want someone who's local, so we refer out if that's the case.
Okay, that's very good. That's interesting to know. Well, how are you? How do most families, like refugees, connect with your organization? Are you like proactively reaching out to them, or tell me more about that process?
So for most of our programs here in Nashville, whether it's the refugee programs or the immigrant programs, we get those referrals through the government.
Okay.
So we are under Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services, and they are under the Department of State, and so they get those referrals and just pass them on to us, and that's how we get them.
Very good. Well, how did you get interested in this type of work?
I've done all sorts of different kinds of work. Over my lifetime, I worked at the health department for quite a few years, and we had a lot of refugees that came through. And so that was kind of my first introduction to meeting refugees. But I'm also married to an immigrant as well, so we've been through that permanent residency process and know kind of what it's like and how stressful it can be. So that kind of was my interest. But I actually first heard about Inspiritus because we also do disaster recovery work in the whole Southeast, and I was working in disaster recovery, and I saw the good work that they were doing, and so when this job came up, I went ahead and applied for it.
Yeah, that has to be rewarding to be working in a way that you feel like you're helping individuals and doing community building work. I think there's a real parallel to what we do at the library, where we're trying to bring people together and in wholesome ways, that make people feel good on the inside.
Yeah.
So, well, let's see. Is there anything else have we talked about everything you wanted to cover today? Or is there anything else for our viewers that you want to make sure they know about either your organization, the work you're doing, or about Nashville? Like what you think's great about Nashville. What do you love about Nashville?
What do I love about Nashville?
Yeah.
At this point I live in South Nashville, kind of Southeast Nashville, and it's such a diverse community. And we were trying to look, we kind of moved there because my son's school was there, but at the same time, like just the fact that we can, my wife is Indian. We can go to the Indian market so easily. We can go to like the international market. Like there's so much good food around us. It's amazing. And I just love that. So we've lived in that area only for 2 years, but that's one of my favorite things. It's just that I can walk out my door and like just have any type of food or culture that I'm interested in.
Well, that is wonderful. Thank you, Indy Pereira.
Yes,
I appreciate you taking some time to talk to me, and I hope that our viewers will look up the Inspiritus organization. And particularly, it sounds like there's a lot of volunteer opportunities, and it's a cool way to meet new people and to your life and enrich it with new cultural perspectives. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.